Welcome r/EntitledParents. Crazy entitled aunt in the Italian restaurant. This happened almost 40 years ago. I'm posting it as a thanks for reading the other stories. This one is more funny and entitled rather than infuriating and entitled. My immediate family was, for the most part, perfectly normal and boring. We were not prone to outbursts and tantrums. It was very calm and quiet. Everyone got along, and we were pretty happy with our boredom. I tell you that, so you understand, that I had absolutely no experience at all with people prone to screaming fits. You should also know that I suffer from a case of terminal morbid curiosity. I also don't give a shit. Never did. Never saw the fun in it. This happened when we were visiting for great auntie's funeral. I was 12. CA insisted that we all go out to dinner at her favorite Italian restaurant. It was just the best. She said so, and she was never wrong. The gimmick here was a little flag of Italy on the table. When you wanted more dinner rolls, you raise the flag. This is important. Flag up, you get rolls. Flag down, no rolls. Remember that. The 6 of us are seated. They take our drink order and bring the bread basket. The cast has a new member. Poo for my poor long-suffering uncle who will one day be made a saint for being married to CA for over 20 years. Some of you commented in my first post that he was an enabler. He wasn't. He was a victim as well. He couldn't leave her without leaving Emily. CA, we will have 5 sweet teas. Dad, I'll have a Coke. Mom, I'll have a Coke. Me, tea, no sugar. This is a mortal sin in the South. CA, don't be silly. You can't have sweet tea without sugar. Me, I don't like sugar. CA, that's stupid. Bring her sweet tea. Waitress, winked at me. Yes, ma'am. Pooh, I think I'd like a Coke as well. Emily, I'd like a Coke. CA, we drink Pepsi, not Coke. We are having sweet tea. The waitress brought us our requested drinks. CA was growing agitated. CA likes to control everything and everyone. So she told us what to order for dinner. I'm not going to get into an ethical debate here, but I refused to eat veal. She demanded we all have the veal. I refused. I knew this would set her off, but, oh well. I'm not eating veal. My parents, after I had explained to them years earlier why I would not eat veal, refused to eat it as well. Did I mention I get my I don't give a shit quality from my parents? Well, they didn't give a shit either. They were perfectly capable of ordering whatever the hell they wanted. So they did. I had lasagna. It was good. My mother's was better. The whole time this is going on, I'm looking from one to the other like watching a tennis match. Back and forth, with the pitch of her voice getting more and more shrill with each sentence. I was fairly certain that when we left bats would have been summoned. I'm just watching them and eating a dinner roll. The food arrives and everyone got what they wanted, even Emily, much to the fury of CA. Then it happens. Pooh raises the flag. CA puts it down. Pooh puts it back up. CA takes it back down. Up and down, up and down. I see the bread guy hovering at the edge of the table, waiting. Flag goes up, and he rushes in to drop off the new basket before it can go back down. CA grabs the basket and throws it at the kid that delivered it. To save time and typing, every time CA speaks, the flag goes down. The rest of the time it goes up. At this point the whole damn place is watching our table and the battle over the flag. I'm fairly sure there were people taking bets to see who would win. In the middle of the confusion, a nice lady sitting at another table nearest Emily tapped her and slipped their fresh bread basket to her. Emily took a roll and slipped it to me. I took one and slipped it to my father. Then it went to my mother who, after taking a roll for herself, slipped one onto Pooh's plate. CA saw it and grabbed for it. Pooh was faster. He shoved the whole thing into his mouth at once. It was a big roll. The waitress approached the table to check to see if we needed anything. Xanax was unfortunately not on the menu, and CA demanded she bring the check. That, ladies and gentlemen, continued while we ate dessert, paid the check my father was buying as we walked to the car and for the entire trip back to their house. My father drove. We dropped them off and went back to our hotel room. Dad, has your sister always been this crazy? Mom, no, it started when she was about 3. Dad, what happened? Mom, she started speaking incomplete sentences. Dad, I've been out of the house for 3 years now, but while my dad was busy my mom was a SAHM. She just didn't like any complicated cooking or trying new things. I just thought it was a shame, since we are Mexican in the US, and I never really got the opportunity to learn a lot of traditional dishes. Some people have generational recipes that get passed down. I didn't. FYI, I cooked a lot of meals for us myself. CA, to a random tourist, fetch me some food. Tourist, no CA, you have to, you are visiting this state, and therefore I own you. Tourist, no, you don't. 3 months later, CA is going to prison for physical and physiological harassment. Her entitlement was pretty much limited to family members. For others she was gracious and always ready to lend a helping hand, from someone other than herself. Usually her husband or Emily. I have a cousin that sounds like CA reincarnated. She just had her first son. I planned on staying away from that family for as long as humanly possible. Most of the family already does. Holidays are so quiet there, but after all of your stories I think I may stick around for that little boy just in case he's my Emily. Xanax was unfortunately not on the menu, is probably the funniest statement I'll hear all day. Ahaha, that was a really good story, told well. This is what the subreddit should be filled with, not tall tales about DS stealing parents. I had a similar experience once eating with family friends. They have a daughter, and are the typical very controlling, helicopter type Catholic parents. We went out to get food once on a Friday, when they were visiting us, and went to a pretty staple restaurant in our area with a pretty varied menu. My family placed our orders, and it came to them. Of course the parents got fish, a Catholic practice, since it was Friday, but daughter wanted something else, and they said no. Turned into a scene that ended up with them forcing her to order a meal that went virtually untouched, which made them angrier, because they insisted they shouldn't have to pay for a meal if it wasn't eaten. What a fiasco. I knew her for 33 years, take a guess. I was raised to believe that you acted on your best behavior in public. What might be acceptable at home was not necessarily acceptable in public. I was completely fascinated by this whole thing. I had never seen anyone act like that, in public or in private. It was like I was observing an alien race, watching that little flag go up and down, over and over. If anything, I shortened it a lot. The flag thing started when they brought our salads, and didn't stop until we ordered dessert. Back and forth, for about 45 minutes. On my planet, you ordered what you wanted at a restaurant, and ate what was given to you at home. You certainly never raised your voice in public over something like that. My mother was totally zen about the whole thing. My father thought it was funny, picking a fight over free bread rolls. She did it several times. Lost her license twice, that I know of. I think for a month and driver's course each time. She stopped doing it, because the third time would have been for a year or something. Her excuse was that when they put it in they designed it wrong. She had been going from point A to point B for years. Then they constructed a new system and changed the direction. It went from being a 4-lane bidirectional to a 4-lane one-way. As I understand it, it was a bit of a widespread problem for a while after it changed. Most of the time, though, it was people being used to a route and not paying attention. It was certainly not deliberate. We heard about that damned road for at least a decade. I live in an area that has been doing just that, so I can understand the frustration, especially when it adds a lot more time to the drive. What I can't understand is taking that kind of chance. Around here you frequently hear people complain, damn, they moved the road again. Jesus Christ and a cross, that woman is insufferable. I would be shutting her ass down so fast. Who the hell does she think she is, trying to tell everyone what they are going to eat and drink simply because that's what she wants? The level of entitlement is staggering. As they say, silence is golden. Well, duct tape is silver, and that bitch would have it on that hole in her face. I found it a little infuriating that your poor uncle and cousin have been abused for so long. I hope all of you throw rolls in her casket. What a C***NT. How did she get married? I want to know this story. I have been reading through all the posts by Op and they're hilarious. How does a person like this exist? Wish she was alive. I want to take lessons from her. It's my state. Like wow, you can all walk home after I take your car away. I love this. Op, please post more.